Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women, a podcast created to equip, inspire, motivate, and empower career-driven, high-achieving, entrepreneurial-minded, grown-ass women who are bold enough to stand in their truth and wise enough to know they deserve better. Let's get ready to recharge, reset, and remember her. Here are your hosts, Adriane M. Johnson and Martha Cooper-Hudson.
Hello, and Happy New Year again to all of our awesome and phenomenal women who's listening to this show. Welcome to 2023 and another episode of Real Talk, Real Women.
Yeah.
Yes, the podcast that was designed and created to equip, inspire, motivate, and empower powerful grown-ass women. I am your host, Martha Cooper-Hudson, and I am joined in the studios. You know her, that's right, my hot sauce to my fish, my peanut butter to my jelly, my co-host, my sister and friend, Miss Adriane M. Johnson. Adriane, come on in and say hello to the audience.
Hey, Real Talk, Real Women family. Man, we are excited to be back in the studio one more time. Martha, the response from our last episode has been overwhelming.
Yeah, that's right.
So many women have come to us and reached out about how they are sharing ways that they are releasing things in 2023 in order to take better care of themselves and so that they can be happier, better versions of themselves. So we're excited about the release. Listen, the release continues. It isn't just a January thing.
That's right.
It's an everyday
That's
thing.
Right.
I'm so excited because today we're going to discuss a topic that's not really discussed a lot, particularly in our communities, Martha.
Yes.
But it's all about protecting your mental health.
You know, Adriane, when we think about the protection of your mental health and in our communities, you know, there's not enough conversations. And over the last month, the climate and the temperature of people who we had no clue
we're going through
that was going through, you know. And so we knew that it was very important for this platform to make sure that on a regular basis,
that's right,
as mental health is a part of our pillars, our 7 pillars that we have in place for all of the awesome women who are a part of Rediscover Her, we knew it was time at the top of the year.
Very timely.
To definitely have a real talk.
Oh, for sure.
Real conversation with real women in this space of protecting their mental health.
Absolutely. Martha, you're absolutely right. It is so critical that we lift this conversation a lot more in our communities, that we shine the light on this because it's not just high profile people.
That's right.
That are being impacted by this. While they get a lot more publicity around it, it goes to show you that at every single level, you can appear to have it all on the outside and be hurting on the inside. And so we really want to take some time today to do some deep dives into, well, maybe not a deep dive, because I believe we're going to have her come back.
Yes.
But we're going to scratch the surface today. We have an amazing, phenomenal, special guest in our studio today. We are joined by licensed professional mental health counselor, Ms. Germaine Middleton. Germaine, come on in and say hello, and then I'm going to introduce the audience. I'm going to tell them a little bit about your credentials. So just say hi, and I'm going to share some stuff about you.
Hello, Adriane, and hello, Martha. It is really good for me to be here today with you guys.
Outstanding. We're excited. Listen, Germaine Lynette Middleton, I know her well. I've known this young lady for 51 years. Y'all.
My God, that's a long relationship,
That's a long
right?
relationship. Mm-hmm. She's a licensed professional counselor. She is a phenomenal, very dynamic speaker, and she's also a published author, y'all. After graduating from my also alma mater, Orangeburg Wilkinson High School, she attended, oh my goodness, I remember the trouble we got in up there. North Carolina A&T State University.
Aggie Pride.
Yes. She earned a BA degree in psychology there from Columbia College. Then she went on to get a master's degree in professional counseling at South University, also in Columbia. She has all kinds of trainings and all kinds of certifications. She's a trained facilitator. She works with the active parenting curriculum, Too Good for Violence and Drugs. She's a phenomenal premarital and marital assessment counselor. Listen, not only that, y'all, she is the epitome of the woman that we serve and support. She is the owner and principal therapist at Glimmer of Hope Counseling, y'all. She's a survivor of domestic abuse, and she also works all the time. She's very active in the community, assisting victims and symptoms, working through the symptoms associated with her trauma. So after finding her voice, she inspires others to write their own story by taking ownership of their life choices and their outcomes. And through forgiveness and empowerment, guess what she does every day? She encourages her audience to take back their pens from those who took them from them and walk in their purpose.
That's right.
And do so in a powerful, in a mighty way. Y'all welcome Germaine Lynette Middleton to our platform.
Yes, Germaine, welcome to the platform of Real Talk, Real Women. You know, I can remember years ago when Germaine she was a speaker on our platform years ago, and she challenged us at that moment in time to take back our pen.
She sure did.
And write our own story. And I tell you, I have been writing chapters after chapters after chapters after chapters ever since then, because I refuse to allow someone else to have the power over how my life ends. If they are not God and my source, I refuse to allow someone else to write my story. And so I've taken that pen back, honey. It's a Mont Blanc pen. And I've decided to write that story myself. So Germaine, we are so happy to have you on this platform. And we are going to get into this conversation today because over the last month, you've known the climate.
Yeah.
You're in it every single day. And what most people fail to realize, Germaine, is that it's not just the high profile individuals that's going through these things. It's that woman out there
every day
who is being the head of her household. It's that woman out there who's that CEO and executive who sits in that C-suite.
Yep.
It's that woman who just started her business because she wanted to fulfill those dreams and goals. And it's that woman who stays home with her children every single day. And she makes her house a home. And she is also going through these very things of how do I protect my mental health. But here's the caveat. Most of us don't want anyone to know that we are having problems,
that we're struggling,
with,
right?
That we're struggling, that at home at night, we are crying ourselves to sleep because we know that we need to resign and release, and we haven't because we are worried about what they're going to say.
What people are going to think.
We know that we should let go of if this business needs to close, Adriane.
Yes.
But we're continuing to allow it to stay open, and it's draining us.
To consume us. Instead of you owning the business, the business owns you.
That's right. You know, it's so many of these stories we hear.
So many.
And that, you know, like you're going to talk about a little bit, that imposter syndrome, you know, I have to be the person that they want me to be in order, instead of me being the true person who I am and being true and authentic to yourself. So I'm excited to be able to join in today and have you come into this space with us today.
Yeah. Germaine, one of the things that you shared with us that you really wanted to lift for our audience is that in order for women to be able to protect their mental health is that they need to set boundaries. They need to learn to say no. Can you talk to us about that?
So, you know, just as Martha was sharing, oftentimes we're in these positions where being able, like the expectation on our lives is just so great. If I am the CEO, if I am the homemaker, if I am the manager of the home, if I'm just starting my business, there's always someone that needs what it is that I have, whether that be friends or children or spouses or my employees or my employer. Someone is always calling on us for something. And what happens is we feel as though we have to meet those expectations in order for us to succeed.
That's right.
For us to be successful, to be seen as a good wife, a good mother, a good employee, a good CEO, a good boss, a good employee. If I don't do it, then someone's going to see me as lesser than, or I'm not meeting their expectations, so I'm not a good whatever, fill in the blank.
Yes. No. You said something there very powerful. We are so afraid, Germaine, that we are not living up to the standards and of others and the expectations of others, that we continue to overextend ourselves and not set the boundaries that we know are correct for us. And that even when we say no, we are still saying yes to the very things that are not that's not feeding us, those very things that we are trying to stand up to, those expectations for, and those very people. And one thing that Adriane and I say on this campus often is that no is a complete sentence. And baby, there is no explanation needed after that no. Absolutely. So continue on, Germaine.
Yeah, and that's not something that just happens. Like, it takes practice, it takes work, being able to have conversations with yourself to understand and justify to yourself first that you do deserve this time and space that you are setting these boundaries around for yourself. I think the greater, more important thing is to, and this is something that I learned from my mentor, is that you want to show up as 100% in these spaces that you're called to serve, and these people, and to these people that you're called to serve. And if you don't, then are you really showing up at 100% and giving them the best of what you have to offer, or what it is that they really need or expect from you, if you're getting pulled in 1,000 different directions?
Yeah,
that's right.
If you're not taking any time to reset and reflect and just re-energize yourself. Yeah. Like, how can I can't be a parent 24 hours a day. I will be drained to zero.
My God.
I have to say, no, baby, go in there and watch TV or play with your toys or whatever, so that I can regenerate myself, so that I can show up as being the mom or being the spouse or whatever it is that this person is really going to need from me.
Man. G, may I call you G?
Absolutely.
You started off by saying somebody always needs something from us. And that in the name of being a good wife or a good employee or employer or good whatever that role is, you fill in the blank, ladies, as you're listening, we overextend ourselves.
Yes.
And I heard it said very well, when you give from a place of lack, you make that person a thief.
There we go. Say that one more time, girl.
When you are giving from a place and a posture of lack, you make that person a thief. They are robbing you.
That's right.
And I think that we need help learning to say no because of those expectations.
That's right.
We really need help with that. And that's directly tied to challenging that imposter syndrome. If I don't do this, then what will people think? If I, so talk to us about how you find harmony between other people's expectations and meeting them, and how you toot your own horn. Because I don't hear a lot of people, see them walking around holding flags and banners, in the name of this is my amazing wife or this is my. So help our listeners. Talk us through that process.
And so here it is. The thing with the imposter syndrome is we never feel like we've done enough.
That's right.
to belong or to carry the title or to take the break. And when if you do, like I said, toot your own horn, like you really need to sit down and have those moments where you reflect and say, you know what? I did laundry. I did dishes.
Yep.
I cooked dinner.
That's right.
I did school drop off. That's enough for today.
Yes.
Like I have been a good mom today.
That's
I don't
enough.
have to check 3 more boxes tonight.
That's right.
To say that I've been a good mom.
That's right.
Or I don't have to do 13 more tasks off of my task list to say that I've been a good employee. I have checked the marks, checked the boxes that I have set aside, designed for my workday to be what it needs to be. And I did it and I did it well. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sit back and count myself as a good employee. I have gone to school. And especially with women, I was just hearing on the news that the disparity between the pay of women and men is still very vast.
Very much so.
So for in those spaces, it's hard to believe that you belong. And that's kind of the basis of that imposter syndrome. Do I really belong here?
Right.
And when you look at yourself, when you especially these CEOs and these high functioning individuals, I've gotten the training. I went to school. I have the degree. I have the certification. So you cannot tell me that I don't belong here. You cannot tell me that I don't get to have a seat at this boardroom.
That's right.
Because I've done what I'm supposed to do, and I don't have to continue to try to prove myself to you.
Wow.
One of the things that I heard from you, G, and one of the hardest problems for women is the deserving part.
Right.
The deserving part.
Right.
We think that we do not deserve it. Right. And when we toot our own horn and when we just pat ourselves on the back, the guilt sets in.
There it is.
And that is the part that keeps women, powerful women, stay-at-home moms, career-driven women. That's the piece that keeps most women from just tooting their horn, knowing and standing in the fact that I did the work. I worked hard. I worked hard for where I am, what I have, and whom I've become. Yeah. And it is okay for you to pat yourself on the back. And when you have successfully completed your task at hand throughout the day, resting and knowing that what you did is good enough.
I love that.
That piece is the hardest thing.
That's enough.
Good enough.
I might get
a
t-shirt.
Good enough.
Hashtag that's enough.
That's enough. You have done enough for the day.
And a part of that work is put that on your task list too. Yes. Take time for me. Rest. Reflect. We make, it's beginning of the year. Everybody's got a vision board. Everybody. But where's your brag book?
Huh. Oh, I like that.
Where are you documenting all the things that you have overcome and gotten through in this past year, this past month, this past week, yesterday?
Right.
Where are you documenting those things? Because those are the things you got to look back on and be like, yeah, I belong here. I did it. I've done enough. I'm good enough. I deserve the good that comes to my life.
That's right. I love it.
That is so, so powerful. Listen, both Martha and I grabbed our pens. I wish y'all could see. We have written down brag book. I'm challenging our listening audience, our followers, everybody who's connected to this platform. Maybe we'll be posting about, I hear another episode coming. Our brag book. All the things that we have to be proud of that we're getting accomplished. When we feel like we are less than, Germaine, when we are struggling, when we are trying to find harmony, and we've done all of the things that we know to do, and we're still just feeling like we're falling short, you say that our listeners, that it is best for us to be okay with getting help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Talk us through that. Culturally, mental health and those are things that there's
taboo.
a stigma. Yeah, those things are taboo. We know that there's abuse going on in our families, and it's like you don't talk about it, or you are accused of not being honest about certain things, and we're carrying those burdens. It's like a big sack of bricks that we're just carrying everywhere. You said it's okay to get help. Talk our listeners through that.
Yeah, and in multiple ways, it's okay. Like, when I work with my clients, I try to be as normal as possible. There are times I have a German Shepherd. He will bark in the background, and I try to make it so plain. Therapists are just like you all. Like, we have stories, we have, there's really, just to try to break down the walls and the barriers, to think that I sit up here with the knowledge and you're down here because you have the issues. Or the presenting problems. Like, I have problems and issues too. I too have a therapist. So, and then you take a look at your life and you see these areas where like you said, where you're struggling, you're having a hard time, those things that you don't like to do, these things that are consuming your time, where this time can be better spent doing something else. I work, I work from home, but to spend hours washing clothes and drying clothes and folding clothes is just not conducive with my time schedule.
Right.
So you know what I do? I let I let someone else do my laundry, because that is saving me at least 3 hours of time out of my day that I can be doing something more productive, growing my business.
That's right.
I can meet with 2 to 3 clients in the time that I would just be
doing laundry,
washing and drying and clothes.
Right.
G, one of my mentors said something to me in that same space. He asked me one day, I was tossing up whether or not I was going to hire an employee and whether or not I wanted to bring on another, because that fear of being responsible for someone else's household was almost paralyzing me. And then he simply said, well, Martha, let me just stick a pin in it. And let me ask you, would you rather be doing $10 and $15 duties or doing $2,500 duties? Which one you want, you pick or choose. So are you willing to give your time to the $10 details and job, or would you rather spend your time with your clients doing the things that they need to get done in order for you to produce that fruit that allows you to take care of those other households? So
Absolutely.
Getting help, delegating.
Wow.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I've always found that Instacart people shop way better than I do. They stick to the list.
Right. You better say,
whatever I tell them to get,
rewind.
They're going to get that and not a thing more.
Rewind.
When I go to the store, I'm coming out with $10,
Extra.
$15, $20, $50 more than what I intended to spend on that trip. They're going to always get what I say. And that's a help to me.
Listen, G, you hit the nail on the head, because listen, it's now Instacart and shopping, having them do your shopping has been around for a minute, right? But I'm old school. 53, I'm like, I don't need anybody to go in the grocery store to pick my groceries and to buy my things. But honey, can I tell you that in November of 2022, that was the first time that I used that service. Girl, I am hooked, okay? I am like, wait a minute. I ordered online or ordered online. There's time I've used the pull-up service. They just put my bags in the trunk of the car and I go on by my business. Phenomenal. And I haven't yet had them miss something that I actually ordered. And if they can't find what I wanted, they just nicely send me a text. Is this substitution good for you? Right. I'm like, yes, boo, bring it and do it. So I'm excited. Girl, you got me excited about the Instacart thing, because I'm telling you, nobody sat me down to say, Martha, you really need to invest in this service. But girl, they got a true member right now.
That's so phenomenal. Gosh, I love the points that you all are bringing up about getting the help. And oftentimes, because we are stretching ourselves so thin, they do a better job. They do a better job shopping. I remember when I was having someone come in and clean my home. Oh my goodness, Miss Thomasina was doing the doggone thing. Now, listen, she used to do Martha's house too.
Yes, honey.
I was like, because that was her space. Yes. That was her. That was her. She loved it.
Yes.
That was her place of peace. And so I had to get out of my head because she folded the towels a little differently than I did. Again, there's that control piece we talked about releasing last week. I had to release that and just say, you know what? I have a linen closet full of clean folded towels.
Yes.
I'm thankful for that.
My Lord, I need her.
The dishwasher has been loaded and things have been put back in the cabinets. The floors are spotless. The kids' rooms are clean. And so getting that help is so important. And you also talk about delegating responsibilities and making sure that we also do evaluations of our relationships periodically.
Yes. And that's probably going to be the biggest shift that anyone can make in their life, because just like that dress that's in the closet, we've had it for so long and we just keep stuff around just because we've always had it around. But we never even take a look at it to see, because I'm looking into my closet as we speak. And at a dress that I'm like, I don't know when the last time I had that on.
That's
but
right.
It's in the closet and it's taking up space, keeping me from getting what's new. Because my closet is full. So there's no room for anything else. So I won't buy anything else because I'm still holding on to what's in there. So now when we shift to relationships, like I said, this is probably going to be the most difficult piece to analyze, and because everybody that's around you now is not going to make it into the next season if you're honest
with yourself.
About this evaluation.
Yes.
That I'm going to suggest that you do. There's just a couple questions that you can ask yourself about these relationships, just to get an idea of like who's around for a purpose and who's just around. So like the first question is, and maybe as I'm going through these questions, just pull somebody up in your mind. What is the goal of this relationship? Like, like you said, Adriane is my sister. So I understand that relationship. I know what our goal is as sisters. I know what it means for me, and I know what it means for her to be sisters. Now, are my expectations communicated to her? Does she know what it means for me to be my sister? What do I expect from her to be as my sister? Do I know what's expected of me from her? Is the next question. How does she want me to show up as a sister? Because that's different for some people.
That's right.
We have it's 6 girls. Yep. And the relationship with this sister is not the same as the relationship with some of the other sisters. So this is an individual thing. It's not just by the title. Now that we know what these expectations are and we've communicated them hopefully with the person, are they being met?
Wow.
And that's probably what the hardest piece is, because some people are not going to be meeting your expectations. You may not be meeting theirs, and there's going to be some dysfunction in that relationship.
That's right.
There's going to be some stress and some strife that lingers around that relationship because unmet expectations bring disappointment.
Wow. Unmet expectations bring disappointment.
Come on now.
God, I need
and how often? How often do you want to stay around somebody that's always disappointing you? So that's going to be an evaluation that you have to do.
That's
now,
powerful.
And then you take a look at, can this relationship fit into my next season?
Girl, my hands are in the air.
About to take off running.
Come on.
Can I see you where I plan to go? In my next, in my better, in my new place. Because this is all contingent on the fact that, like you said, we bossing up and we're motivating, we're equipping, we're empowering, and we're not going to be the same. We're making a conscious decision to be somebody different, somebody better, and to show up in these spaces. Y'all aren't doing these podcasts with information for people to still be the same at the end of the next year.
That's right. That's right.
So can the person that you're evaluating show up in that space? Because what will happen is they will bring the tools, they will bring the resources, they will bring the support that you need for you to get there. Instead of like a butterfly with a rock tied to its feet.
My Lord.
You want to fly. You trying. You want to fly. But this person is just tied to you and you can't go no higher and you can't figure out why. If you cut that string, I guarantee you, because your wings are, it's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with your wings. It's nothing wrong with your ability to fly. You're just tied to some dead weight, tied to some rock. That is not trying. A rock ain't trying to move. Ain't trying to be nothing better.
We cannot tear up these people's studio.
Listen, that all of that part. You know, when you said you need to cut it, I had the song came in my mind. You know, you need to cut it. I mean, you need to cut it right then and there. And you just, honey, the notebook is filled.
It's filled.
Because as I evaluate my relationships in 2023, honey, if they are not meeting those criteria, along with if they are not adding and multiplying, but they are dividing and subtracting from my life, they gotta go.
They will not show up in the next season. That's right.
Because just like the elevation in which you are taking yourself, everybody cannot handle the aptitude in which you're going to.
That's right.
So you have to be okay, just like an elevator. When an elevator stops on the floor, people get off and people get on.
That's right.
You got to be okay with those people that's getting off and be okay with the people that's getting on, that's helping you go to that next level.
That's right.